It's a lie. It's not true. You don't have to buy it. Cut that shit off at the pass.
My only question, I have been like amazed by everything in America, everything but one thing. I'm amazed and at the same time
Fat people.
horrified. No, of how popular socialism has been here in America, especially because I have seen like what can it do to a wonderful country, and I really don't want that to happen to America. But my question is, why do you think it became so popular over here?
Because I've never lived it. That's it. I know I should, I just kind of went off, I gave you a soliloquy. The truth is, as it relates to socialism, no one here has ever actually lived it. I mean, I know Bernie Sanders honeymooned in a tent in the USSR, but outside of that, no one's ever lived. Like, I was raised in Quebec, which isn't socialist like Venezuela, but we do have a socialized healthcare system. We do have a 52% income tax, and it's actually, you don't have to be making that much to be in that highest income tax bracket. I lived it, and as it relates to like socialized healthcare, that's a good example, right? Here's what often happens, okay? This is why I think so. They haven't lived it, but they also get tricked by the same media who wants to silence Generation Z, by the way. Here's what you often see, like let's take healthcare for an example. By the way, how's healthcare in Venezuela compared to the United States?
Stuff.
You have free stuff. Is it good?
No.
Okay. I already told you my mom was starving. So what they do, and you see this a lot from the left, and I hear this in the debates, and I'm amazed. This is one thing that hopefully you guys understand and see this sort of bait and switch that happens a lot. The left, what they do is they say, hey, the United States, we spend too much on healthcare. Understood. We do have a system that's broken. It's not flawless. They say every single other industrialized country has socialized healthcare. Okay, they're not necessarily all the same kind of system, but I do understand they have something more similar to what you would see as socialized healthcare compared to the United States. And then they say they spend less, and by the way, they have better healthcare. By the way, they rank Venezuela above the United States. This comes from 2 studies. Okay, this is important to note. What they do is they talk about healthcare, and they talk about the problems that we have in the United States objectively, and we do have problems. And then what they say is these healthcare systems in other countries are better, and all of a sudden they start pushing subjective ratings. Comes from 2 studies. Comes from one is the World Health Organization. They did their global rankings, okay? Has the United States ranked right between, if I'm not mistaken, Slovenia and Colombia. Yeah, go in next time you need to have a root canal. Pablo Escobar shows up. I mean, it is unbelievable. And then there's one other one. The more recent one was the Commonwealth study. So these are the only 2 studies that I know of. And by the way, the Commonwealth studies, I believe that was the organization. We wrote about it on the website. They listed 11 different countries for healthcare. And they ranked them. And they said, okay, these are the best from best to worst. Do you know who's ranked 11th? The United States. Do you know who was ranked number 1? The UK. Now here's the thing. How did they come up with those rankings? Does anyone here, even if you're a liberal, does anyone here believe that our healthcare is not as good as Cuba or Slovenia, for God's sakes? No, of course not. What they do is say we have problems, and then they say these people have better healthcare. Why? Because they're happier with their healthcare. Well, that doesn't matter. If I give somebody a shit sandwich and they're happy because it's free, it doesn't mean that it's better than me having a meal of broccoli and chicken breast and quinoa, right? You can say all you want that my meal is more expensive and the person who's starving who has a crap sandwich is happier with it. That doesn't mean that it's objectively better than the United States. I'm amazed that nobody talks about this more. Conservatives get sucked into it a lot and they say, well, these countries are ranked higher than the United States. Okay, let's take the one that's ranked number 1 in the most recent study. Guess what they have there? We want to look at objective outcomes? Mortality rate, your likelihood of suffering, of dying from a serious illness. It's 2 to 3 to 4 times higher in the UK. I think we have the numbers. It was like 2.5 times more likely to die from breast cancer, from prostate cancer. The wait times are exponentially higher than the United States. Drug development doesn't come out of these countries, but guess what? People who don't have to pay, even if they're in countries where they're paying 60% income tax, right, and they can't afford a car like in Denmark because the tax is so overwhelming, so they all drive old gay Passats. They think that their healthcare is better because they see it as free. Don't be fooled by the rankings that list our healthcare lower than other countries because of subjectivity and people saying that they like their healthcare more. And that tricks a lot of young Americans to go, well, hold on, socialism must be doing it right. It's a lie, it's not true, you don't have to buy it, cut that shit off at the pass. Thank you very much, sir, for your question.
You're welcome.
Watch Louder with Crowder live, Monday through Thursday, 10 a.m. Eastern.